The engine roared louder than thunder as my KIH harvester surged forward. Metal screech against metal and fiberglass shatter like a cannon blast, filling the air with deafening crack. What had once been a pristine golf cart now lay crumpled, a mangled mess of plastic, wires, and chrome scattered across my yard. I didn't flinch, didn't pause. I just stood there, watching as justice, at last, came crashing down on HOA President Brenda Atwell. But that's not where it all began. Let me tell you how we got here. My name is Darren Coley, and 3 months ago, I thought I'd found heaven on earth when I moved to Silver Oakage. After 3 decades of running a landscaping company in the city, I finally bought my dream. 10 acres of land on the edge of a polished suburban development. Half of my property fell under the HOA's jurisdiction, the other half zoned for agriculture. I had plans to grow premium produce for high-end local restaurants. It seemed perfect until my second week here. I was unloading some heavy equipment when a golf cart screeched into my driveway, cutting through the peaceful hum of the morning. Out hopped Brenda Atwell, barely over 5 feet tall. She stormed up my path, her tennis gear more designer than practical. She shoved a clipboard in my face like it was a court summons. "Mr. Coley," she barked, dragging out my last name like it left a bad taste in her mouth. That monstrosity of a tractor breaks HOA Regulation 17-3. All recreational vehicles must be hidden from view. I stayed cool, explaining that it wasn't a recreational vehicle. It was my work equipment for the agricultural side of my land. But she just laughed, a squeak like a broken spring escaping her. "Doesn't matter," she said. "If it's visible from the street, it's a violation." Then she handed me a warning. "You've got 24 hours before we fine you $500. And that was just the beginning. Over the next 2 months, Brenda unleashed a barrage of violations. My heirloom fig trees, non-compliant landscaping, my compost system, unauthorized outdoor storage. Even my handmade scarecrow, yes, my scarecrow, was slapped with citation for being an unauthorized decorative object. Each fine escalated, and each time I tried reasoning with her, attending HOA meetings. But Brenda ran those meetings like a monarch, issuing orders at everyone, including the other homeowners, was too scared to challenge. She'd ruled with an iron fist for 6 years, weaponizing bylaws to bulldoze anyone who dared question her authority. Then came the Tuesday that changed everything. I walked outside to find Brenda's bubblegum pink golf cart chained to my access gate with a massive industrial padlock, not just blocking it, chained through it, the chain twisted tight around the fence posts and the cart's frame. The wood of my gate groaned under the pressure. I dialed her number immediately, heart pounding in my chest. She answered, almost as if she had been waiting for my call. "Brenda, your cart's blocking my equipment gate. I need to get my combine into the backfield," I said. Her voice oozed fake cheerfulness. "Oh, Darren, that gate borders HOA land. I'm doing a property line audit this month. Official HOA business. So my vehicle has to stay there to document it." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "That's my private fence on my private property. You need to remove it." She didn't hesitate. "Actually," she said, dripping with smugness, HOA Bylaw 42, subsection C, allows usage of any structure within 3 feet of common property for HOA activity. I have every right to secure it there." Then she added, "Feel free to file a complaint with the board. Our next meeting is in 3 weeks. She hung up before I could respond, leaving me staring at the pink eyesore, the chain digging deeper into my gate. My $$20,000 piece of equipment was now completely useless, trapped by the very woman who seemed intent on destroying my life. I tried everything. I reached out to the HOA management company, but they just pointed me back to Brenda. I consulted an attorney, but the legal route would cost me more than waiting it out. I even called the cops, but they shrugged it off as a civil dispute. Day by day, the damage mounted. My fence posts leaned farther, paint peeled where the metal scraped. The weight of the golf cart was literally tearing my gate apart. Brenda drove by daily, her husband's SUV smirking at her sabotage. By the second week, my specialty greens began to bolt in the heat. 3 of my restaurant clients called to ask about their orders, but I had to cancel. I lost over $10,000 in revenue, all because Brenda had chained my access shut. The agricultural office said it was out of their hands. The county passed a buck to the HOA. I was stuck in a bureaucratic black hole. Then Brenda turned the screw even further. I came home to find a notice pinned to my front door, a $300 fine for fence neglect. The damage caused by her cart was now my violation. 2 days later, another notice $500 for a visual eyesore. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, a $700 fine for obstructing HOA activity because I dared ask her to move her own cart. I'd had enough. I went to her house, hoping one last time for a civil resolution. She answered the door in a satin robe, swirling a cocktail at 2 p.m. Brenda, please. I'm bleeding money here. Just unchain the cart. She took a slow sip of her drink, tilting her head. You know, Darren, you might be happier somewhere that fits your kind better. We have standards here. The way she said your kind left no doubt. I walked away in silence, her laughter echoing behind me. That night, I stood staring at the chain gate until the sky turned pitch black. 3 weeks of pleading, endless paperwork, and watching my livelihood wither while she played queen of the cul-de-sac had taken their toll. I snapped. No more filing complaints. No more waiting for justice. I was done. I called my home security company and had them send me the full 3 weeks of footage. It was all there. Brenda attaching the chain, inspecting the damage with a smug grin, and sneering as she drove past, knowing exactly what she was doing. I gathered every text, every email, every notice, then dialed up an old buddy at the sheriff's office. She's trespassing, Darren, he said after reviewing everything. You've got a solid case. File a report tonight. We'll flag it for priority. At 11:59 p.m., I submitted the report. Then I set my alarm for 4:30 a.m. The next morning, the air was crisp and clear, visibility perfect. I fired up the combine, and its diesel engine roared like a freight train. The lights from houses flicked on up and down the street. Good. Let them watch. I rolled the 8-foot-wide machine forward, aligning it with the chain gate. The golf cart sat there like an unwelcome tumor in the landscape. I nudged the combine forward. The chain went taut, the post creaked, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a deafening snap, the chain burst apart. The golf cart lurched backward, right into the waiting blades of the harvester. What followed was pure, unadulterated beauty. The rotating chains ripped into the cart, like meat through a grinder. Fiberglass shattered, the frame crumpled, and that garish pink finish vanished in a storm of shrapnel. In less than 30 seconds, all that was left was mulch. I shut off the engine, and silence fell over the street. Neighbors stood frozen on their lawns and porches, their mouths agape. Then someone clapped. Another joined in. Soon, half the street was cheering. That's when Brenda arrived. Her white SUV screeched into my driveway, and she exploded out of the car like a banshee. "What did you do?" she screamed, her eyes wild. That was a $20000 custom cart. You'll pay for this. I'll sue you. I'll ruin you. I stepped down from the cab and handed her a thick envelope. She stopped mid-rant, eyes narrowing in confusion. "What's this?" she demanded. I looked her dead in the eye. "A complete trespass report filed last night. Includes 3 weeks of footage of you chaining that cart, the documented crop loss exceeding $$30,000, and 6 neighbors' statements about your harassment." Her face drained of color, then flushed a deep red. Her hands trembled as she fumbled with her phone. "I'm calling 911. You're done." "Go ahead," I said, barely suppressing a smirk. "The sheriff's department will be very interested in my complaint." As if on cue, a patrol car rolled up behind her. 2 deputies stepped out, calm and casual. "Morning, Darren," said Deputy Hall, then turned to Brenda. "Ma'am, we need to ask you a few questions about a trespass and vandalism report." Brenda's face twisted in disbelief. "I'm the HOA president," she shrieked. "He destroyed HOA property." Deputy Hall raised an eyebrow. "The golf cart illegally chained to his gate. The one that damages fence and cause financial harm? He checked his notes, then added, "You're under arrest for criminal trespass, vandalism, harassment, possible jail time, minimum $10, 000 in fines." Her mouth opened and closed like a fish, but no sound came out. No one said a word as the deputies listed off her charges. The final blow came hours later, when a video of the cart's destruction went viral in the local community groups. By noon, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. By 2 p.m., Brenda was voted out as president. Her real estate license was reported for ethics violations. Turns out racial bias and harassment through HOA authority violate fair housing laws. She was hit with $40, 000 in fines, and the permanent revocation of her license. The last time I saw her, she was still in that satin robe, screaming into her phone while her husband packed suitcases into their SUV. A foreclosure sign was jammed into their lawn. As for me, I welded what was left of the cart into a yard sculpture. The HOA tried to find me again, but the new president, Bob, retired music teacher and all-around good guy, just laughed. "It gives the block personality," he said. "Criminal charges? $15, 000 in fines? Board removal? $40, 000 civil penalty?" None of it mattered. The look on Brenda's face when the deputies read her rights? Absolutely priceless. If watching Brenda get what she deserved made your day, hit like and subscribe for more epic HOA revenge stories.